What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. Today I have a 74. It's a Chevy pickup. It has a 454 underneath the hood. Let me open the hood real quick. Okay, so it has a 454. It's an automatic transmission. I'm gonna be rebuilding the motor, the tranny. I'm gonna go through the differential. I'm definitely gonna fix the AC, and I'm gonna check the brakes. I think I'm gonna just replace the brake pads and the brake shoes. So pretty much the idea is to get the truck running again, and I want to do a bunch of upgrades. Definitely it's gonna be a fun project, so I hope you guys stay tuned and enjoy the project. Okay, so I managed to bring the truck inside of the shop. Last time it did start, but this time I tried to crank it and crank it and crank it and nothing. It's making a weird noise. I think it's either the flex plate or the starter. One of those two, they're faulty, so I had to push it in. But regardless, the truck is inside and I'm gonna start working on it. So I'm gonna do a bunch of upgrades. I'm gonna rebuild the motor, the tranny, go through the differential and the brakes like I said before. But for now I'm gonna start by removing the hood. I'm gonna pull out the motor, the tranny, and I'm gonna show you guys the process. I got the hood off. I'm not gonna use this hood because it has a bunch of rust. I mean, this one has like holes going through it, so I'm not gonna be using this hood. I'm gonna get another hood for it. Let me go ahead and show you guys the engine bay. Okay, so I'm gonna start by disconnecting everything, all the connectors, the hoses, drain the oil, drain the antifreeze. I'm gonna be removing every accessory, everything on the engine bay, because I want to spray the engine bay. I'm gonna powder coat the wheel wells, so I think I'm gonna powder coat them black, and the rest is gonna be orange. So I'm gonna start off by pulling out the motor, the tranny, and then I'm gonna remove everything on the engine bay, clean it up, spray it, and make it look nice. Okay, so I just removed the canister and I found something really interesting. So the canister bolts on right here, and there's an extra key. So this was really, I think it's really funny, you know, but I'm gonna leave it here for now, and I'm gonna open it later on and see if it's an actual key for the truck. Okay, so I pretty much removed everything that I need to. I'm about ready to pull the motor out. I already hooked up my chain. So I disconnected the exhaust, all the hoses, and whatever wiring there is. Not a lot, but I'm gonna pull out the motor. I'm gonna bring down the tranny. Then I'm gonna start moving all the accessories around the engine bay. Okay, so I pulled out the motor. It's sitting over here. So I'm gonna be taking this apart, but before I do, I still gotta bring down the tranny. I just wanna be careful because it has oil and I don't wanna make a mess. And then I'm gonna remove all the accessories from the engine bay. I'm not gonna pressure wash it right now. I'm gonna do it later, but for now I just wanna remove everything and get it ready for powder coat. So once I remove everything, I'll probably just pressure wash whatever's left, and the rest I'm just gonna clean it by hand, and I'm gonna send a couple of pieces to get powder coated. And here's my filthy transmission. So I'm gonna start removing everything from the engine bay. The only one thing I'm gonna leave on is the booster and the master cylinder, but everything else I'm gonna try to remove. And once I finish removing everything, I'm gonna go back to the engine and I'm gonna start taking it apart. Okay, so I removed most of the stuff. I left the master cylinder, the booster, and the power steering pump because I need to move the truck around and I don't wanna make a mess. But I'm gonna go back to the motor right now, and later on I'm gonna pressure wash the truck. I'm gonna push it outside for now, and maybe later on I'm gonna clean everything up. The wiring, I'm gonna leave the wiring there for now. I don't think I'm gonna completely remove the wiring, but I'm gonna clean it up for sure. So I'm gonna push this outside and I'm gonna go back to the motor. I'm gonna start taking the motor apart. I'm gonna start with the flex plate. I gotta remove the flex plate. Then I'm gonna put it on the engine stand. Then I'm just gonna take everything apart. I'm curious to see how the inside looks because I don't think no one's ever messed with the motor. No one's ever even serviced the heads. So I'm curious to see how the inside is gonna look. I wanna upgrade a bunch of parts. I wanna throw either shorties or long tube headers. I also wanna get a different intake manifold. I might get a different carburetor. I wanna get valve covers if there's any available. I wanna change the valve covers a little bit. And for the distributor, I think I got another distributor, but this one is the magnetic pickup one. So I think I might leave it on. I might just get the other one and throw it on. I'll see. If the other one's the old school, the points, I'm not gonna use it. I'll keep this one. but once I get to that point, we'll see. But for now, I'm gonna throw it on the engine stand. I'm gonna take it apart and we'll see how the inside looks. Okay, so I almost removed most of the accessories. I removed the exhaust, the carburetor, the distributor, all the hoses. I'm about ready to remove the valve covers. I already removed the bolts on both of them and also the intake. So I'm just gonna remove the valve covers, the intake, both of the heads, the timing cover, the oil pan, and that's it. I'm gonna send it out like that to the machine shop. But let's go ahead and remove the valve covers and see how the inside looks. Okay, so it doesn't look that bad. It's actually pretty clean. You guys are able to see that there's like oil. So I don't know if the engine was serviced. For example, they did a head gasket or they rebuilt the motor, because this looks pretty clean. Or they probably serviced the engine. They did their oil changes on time and that's why the engine looks so clean. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the other one. Oh, well, this one I might have to pry it off. So I'm gonna go ahead and pry it. There it is. Okay, so the gasket definitely needed to be replaced. And this side, I mean, the motor's been sitting for a while and it doesn't look that bad. So this side looks pretty clean as well. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the intake now, and I'm gonna show you guys how it looks. Okay, I just removed the intake manifold. The intake manifold is sitting right here, and honestly, the engine looks pretty clean inside. I can't wait to remove the oil pan and see how it looks. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it all apart. I'm gonna have the machine shop take a look at it, and I'm just gonna go by whatever the machine shop tells me, but most likely I think I'm gonna rebuild it because it looks like they serviced it a while back ago. I mean, the gaskets, they're all messed up already. They're all crunchy and they're just falling apart. So I'll see. I'll take it to the machine shop and I'll have them take a look at it and we'll go from there. For now, I'm gonna remove the heads and I'm gonna remove the oil pan. Okay, so I just removed the heads and they don't look that bad, but they do need a lot of cleaning. And the pistons, they don't look that bad either. But I'm gonna rebuild the motor regardless. I'm just gonna freshen it up because everything seems to be like the seals, they look old and everything else looks old. The gaskets, there's a lot of rust too. So I'm just gonna go through the whole motor, rebuild it, and I'm just gonna have a fresh motor. But definitely it looks like they did service this engine. They did their oil changes and stuff. There's no oil sludge anywhere, so it's pretty clean for being a 74. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the oil pan, take a look inside, and I'm just gonna take the engine to the machine shop. Okay, so I just took off the oil pan and it looks pretty clean. So the oil pan looks pretty clean. Everything underneath, it's pretty clean. The only thing I didn't like about the oil pump is that they wrap like a wire around the pickup tube to hold it. I don't know if this is, I mean, it's not loose, but see, you can see right here that they wrapped up a wire. So I'm just gonna get another pickup tube and another oil pump, and I'm gonna go ahead and take these to the machine shop. I'm also gonna take the transmission to get rebuilt. So I'm gonna be taking both of them, but for the meanwhile, I got a bunch of parts that I gotta clean. I'm not gonna use some of the parts, but most of them, I'm gonna try to reuse them. I'm gonna get some upgraded parts, but I'm gonna try to use as much as I can. Okay, so last night I pressure washed it. I mean, everything kind of came off, all the grease on the firewall and the fenders, but the chassis, I think I'm gonna have to use a better degreaser, or I'm gonna have to spray it and leave it overnight because there's still a lot of sludge on the chassis, on the cross member, on the lower control arms. So I'm gonna get a better degreaser. I'm gonna spray it, I'm gonna let it sit overnight, and I'm gonna give it another try with the pressure washer. Hopefully this time everything cleans a lot better, but we'll see. So I'm gonna get a better degreaser, spray it, let it sit overnight. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and clean the rest of the parts. Okay, so the engine was pretty clean inside and everything looked pretty good, but I was cleaning the oil pump and there's some kind of debris on the pickup. You guys can see the debris right here. So I'm not gonna use this pickup anymore, and I'm not gonna use this pump. And I also found some debris on the oil pan. So you're able to see right here, there is some pieces. So something broke inside, and I'm glad I took it to the machine shop. That way they can open it up, take a look at it, and just take care of the problem. Okay, so I already cleaned everything. I'm gonna use most of the stuff, so I still gotta sandblast everything. I just removed the grease because it was like really greasy, but everything's being degreased already. So I'm gonna sandblast what I'm gonna use, and once I sandblast them, I'm gonna powder coat them. For the oil pan and the valve covers, I think I'm just gonna do the valve covers, but for sure I want to get another oil pan and I want to get different valve covers too. But for now, I'm gonna sandblast everything and I'm gonna start powder coating. And here's the last piece of the puzzle. So I'm gonna be sending this transmission to get an overhaul. I know the transmission is good, but I want to have a fresh motor and a fresh transmission, so I'm gonna get this rebuilt. They're already working on the motor, so I'm gonna send this out. Hopefully I get both of them at the same time. That way I can just put everything back together. Okay, so the transmission and the motor are getting rebuilt right now. So I'm gonna try to degrease the truck and I'm gonna hit it with a pressure washer one more time. But that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you guys next time.